I just would like to say one thing before we get this podcast started proper.
Yeah?
Pinky Dash Adventure! Pinky Dash Adventure! Best episode ever!
Woo!
Hashtag Pinky Dash Adventure best episode.
Pinky Dash Adventure starring Gilda.
Pinky Dash with Griffon Adventure. Hashtag Pinky Dash with Griffon Adventure. And with that, let's get started.
Welcome aboard, folks, to the super family-friendly pony podcast.
Just family-friendly pony podcast. It's not quite super yet.
I don't know why, I've got it in my head to call it the super, like Super Mario Brothers.
It's me, Medo Godaimasta, here to present to you the Super Pony podcast, starring Devaro Arcavarone, and our friend from Germania, SCT Night Mario. I'm going to call you Night Mario from now on.
God.
SC2 Night Mario.
Well, it's definitely a better name than than renaming Luigi to Guluigi. Guligi or something.
Or Waluigi. Oh, snap. Anyway, let's talk about ponies, because that's what we're here to do, aren't we?
Pony.
Yes, ponies and griffins.
Okay, so, Devar, I'm really looking forward to hear your opinion about this episode, because, as I recall, this was the episode you, in particular, were waiting for. You know? Ponies go outside of Ponyville, adventuring and stuff in the rest of the world, responding to the call of the
cutie map.
I was about to say the McGuffin map, but that's good too. Which apparently now it has the power to select a seemingly random couple of ponies among the main 6, not just all of them together, to go in a specific mission for the specific talents and specific friendship resume, so to speak.
Mad Hog, yes. I called it.
Yes, you did. That's why I'm looking forward to hear your opinion about it.
Anyway, should we start with what actually happens in this episode? The summary?
Actually, before that, yeah? I'd like to say I am calling it right now.
You're calling them right now?
No, I'm calling you on the phone, on Skype, like we're doing. You Captain Genius. No.
Yes, Skype.
I'm calling it...
program.
Yes, sure. Sponsored by Skype. I'm calling it right now, you guys.
Yeah.
This season is following a similar pattern to season 4. I'm calling it right now. If you remember, what was the first key episode in season 4? Rarity Takes Manhattan, because you obviously don't remember, and that happened to be episode 8 of season 4. This season we have the first. Let's just say McGuffin map episode aside of the premiere, and it just so happens to be also episode 8.
What a coinkydink!
If I'm right, and it's going to have the same pattern, then I fully expect a second McGuffin map episode to be happening in episode 10.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see if that is the case then.
Hopefully it won't be as bad as Rainbow Falls, which is the season 4 parallel at this point.
Rainbow Falls was bad?
Kind of, yes. It was kind of a train wreck, in fact. But don't hear my opinion about it. Listen to the opinion of like 70% of all Brony reviewers out there. Yes.
Yes, because I clearly cannot make up my own opinion.
Yes,
I'm not capable of that.
Yes, that's also the reason why I stopped listening to other people's reviews because who needs them? Hey, am I right? But anyway,
who needs
Who wants
us?
to hear people talk about
Because,
ponies all the time?
yes, okay, but never mind about ponies. Let's talk about ponies. So, Devar, summarize this episode for us, please.
Okie dokie. So, Pinky Rainbow Dash Adventures!
Pretty much. Hashtag Pinky Dash with Griffon Adventure.
Okay, seriously, the episode starts off with Pinkie Pie baking as per usual. With her pet
She's
gummy.
a terrible baker.
No, she's
No, she's just terrible at choosing assistants. Much like Mang Dal with Chowder.
So you're saying the time she had Apple Bloom help her make cupcakes, those back in season 1, those burnt crisp
which
things.
were Apple Bloom's cupcakes.
That was Apple Bloom's doing, not Pinky's?
Yes, that was Apple Bloom's. Like I said, Pinkie Pie is a good baker, but she's terrible in choosing assistants. Much like Mang Dal with Chowder. So this time, I guess Gummy the alligator will be the Chowder of the occasion.
Gummy is best baker.
Yes, he certainly did a lot of baking.
Yes, he held a spatula in his mouth. This is his most dramatic performance so far.
It's a whisk, really.
And he fell over.
It's a whisk.
Okay, Captain Detail. He held a kitchen utensil in his mouth and fell over. That's his greatest performance yet.
Mad Hog, get a kitchen!
I don't get it, but anyway.
Anyway, as I was saying, while baking, Pinkie Pie's cutie mark starts to shine.
Because vibrating cutie marks is a thing now.
Well, glowing in the dark cutie marks.
And vibrating, judging by the obvious noise of vibration.
It's like at this rate, it might as well be the pony version of the bat signal.
Might as well be the pony version of iPhones.
Though then again, if Batman had the same issue, I think he would be having his butt cheeks be shaking.
But anyway, it's the cutie mark. It's like iPhones for cutie marks. Hello? Yes? Is this the call of destiny? Coming right over.
Yes.
Oh god.
So Pinky goes over after leaving her so capable assistant to baking the meringues or whatever.
Well, I'll say
50-layer cake, or what was it?
yes, with all the ingredients he needed.
All the ingredients,
and
all the instructions, everything he needs to know, and leaves him. And we will not know what happened to him until the end of the episode.
When we find him in the exact same position.
Well, thanks a lot, Mad Hog. You spoiled the surprise for everyone.
Yes, because that was the biggest spoilery moment to spoil in this episode, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because everybody cared about what was Gummy doing during the Pinky Dash Adventure special.
To be honest, I forgot about him.
Yes.
So she comes to the castle where Twilight lives.
Specifically to the whole of the McGuffin map, because I'm calling it right now. That's how I call it right now, the McGuffin map, because that's what it is, which is apparently the all-knowing quest giver, unexplained magical item.
You have a new quest.
Yes. If this were to be Dragon Quest, the map would be the elderly man that gives out quests. Or something.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Yeah, it's also Legend of Zelda.
Yes. So yeah,
it's dangerous to go alone. Take Rainbow Dash.
So yeah, Pinky.
But first, stay a while and listen.
Yes, stay a while and listen. Anyway, as I was saying,
and then he starts singing a rap song about having sex with Link.
Oh god, you know that video?
Oh gosh.
Well, yes, it's kind of a guilty pleasure.
Well, yeah. Anyway, as I'm about to say, so she comes to the castle and sees the map with both her cutie mark and Rainbow Dash's cutie mark flying around a stone mountain village sort of looking area.
And curiously enough, it's only them, only those two cutie marks. This seems a bit too convenient for the plot, if you ask me.
but like I said, and when I many times before, I was expecting this to happen.
No, actually, you were hoping for this to happen, more likely.
Well, yeah, I was thinking of the possibilities and hoping that...
Okay, at this point, I fully expect to see a Rary Jack adventure episode, because that's what everyone wants.
Oh god, the shipper.
Because that's everyone and their dogs want to see.
Yes, everyone wants to see that.
Which would weirdly leave out a Flutter Light adventure?
A Twi-Shy adventure?
That's new.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be new.
So yeah, anyway. So the plot tells us, which is Twilight Sparkle, by the way.
Yes, the Twilight Sparkle is the plot.
Twilight Sparkle is exposition.
She tells us that
for nothing else is she there.
Because
somebody has to do that. We don't have Celestia to do that, so of course we have Twilight.
So yeah, Twilight then tells us the area they'll be visiting, like a tour guide.
Which is the Kingdom of the Griffins that we fans have been waiting to see for season after season, and, well, most fans, I didn't really...
As I noticed it was Griffin Kingdom, I was really excited.
Yes,
I wasn't.
And then you actually saw the place.
Yes.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We get to that.
We'll get to that. The Griffins. I wasn't excited, but I was interested to see where it would go because let's put it this way: Twilight really wants to go there.
Yes. Okay. I have a problem with that.
What?
There is absolutely no reason whatsoever for Twilight not to go with them. You know, just because the map says, "Hey, this mission is for those two alone," doesn't mean she can tag along.
That's what I was had a problem with. Actually, I was gonna say that.
Okay, this is something that fans have been lamenting about Twilight for quite some time. Is that she is a bit she's a bit too much prone to follow directives from
greater powers.
From supposed greater powers, even if they are just inanimated objects.
I don't see why she couldn't have gone with them to be like.
Yes, I don't see that. No, if she went with them, the story would have been half as long. I mean, go there, use Alicorn power to save the day and retrieve the amulet, or the idol, then discover the idol is not that important, and then friendship lesson. And if Twilight Sparkle came along and because she is Twilight Sparkle, she would have understood what the problem was, and she would have been teaching the lesson to others, as opposed to, well, others learning said lesson for themselves.
Well,
or at the very least, it will feel less impactful if the friendship lesson is, if the avatar of the friendship lesson would have been Twilight Sparkle as opposed to someone else. What I'm trying to say is that we've seen Twilight Sparkle preaching about friendship already, plenty of times. Let's see someone else do that.
I've never noticed that.
Let's see someone else do that. Let's see Pinkie Pie do that for a change.
Yes, but
the pony that wants to be friends with everyone.
We have
never seen her talk about friendship.
That was a surprisingly long-winded rant that I just spat out, but
the problem I had with the whole thing is that the show didn't really give us an explanation of why she couldn't go. Other than saying, "Oh, the map said so, I can't go." That's like.
That's
not like
terrible
the map
excuse.
had forbidden it.
Well, I don't want to say it's lazy, but at this point it would have been a better excuse to ever just say, "No, I'm just going to stay and watch Hoofball with Spike and exchange figurine because I suddenly like Hoofball now."
Spike really got me into hoofball, okay?
Okay, I'm never letting this oofball thing go. Never.
Oh, wait. A better explanation would be, oh, I'm going on a long weekend playing online on Heroes of the Stallions.
I'll kill you. You're asleep.
Oh, that would have been a better explanation, but no, they didn't give anyone.
Well, so are these heroes all inside a stallion? That sounds impractical.
Not why I said it, but okay.
Don't think about it.
So anyway,
Don't think about it.
So anyway, they take the train, which is apparently now a train that can go anywhere.
The map we had from Equestria suggested that the Griffins were overseas to the east. And now the train can drive them there.
The train is Jesus, okay?
It can rail
I
on
am
water.
walking, I can't swim, okay?
Oh, the train can rail on water, apparently.
Either that or it's a James Bond train.
Okay, there seems to be a bit of an dissonance in between the map we know and the map the show seems to know. Yeah.
Maybe it's out of date.
But it's okay, but it doesn't quite bother me. So let's move on. So,
Yeah, let's move on.
So
Have any of you an idea where the Griffin Kingdom would be located?
Not really, no.
The map in the castle, the MacGuffin map.
Yeah.
It shows Equestria.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if the Griffin Kingdom is on there, then it must be somewhere around Equestria, right?
Yes.
I suspect somewhere in the northern mountains.
Probably. Yes. What's your point?
That's fine.
I just was wondering if any of you picked up where it would be exactly.
Well, you could say maybe this Griffin Kingdom is not the Griffin Kingdom, is a Griffin Kingdom that just so happens to be part of Equestria. Maybe the Griffin Kingdom we see in the map is a completely other, different nation and continent altogether.
It's Europe.
Anyway.
Might be.
Anyway, let's carry on. So Pinky and Rainbow head off to the.
Oh, no, it's Pinky Dash.
Yeah, Pinky Dash head off to the
entity known as Pinky Dash.
The entity known as Pinky Dash goes to the Griffin Kingdom with obviously Dash side not wanting to go because of reasons consisting of season 1 escapades with Griffins.
Oh yes, Gilda is returning in this episode.
In case the image I put down didn't quite clue you in on that.
But anyway, Gilda. It's funny because it seems to me that I know for a fact that writers of the show are not allowed to read fan fictions because they might influence them in some way when they write their stories. But I cannot help but feel that many episodes of this show as of late seems to be what many fan writers actually wanted to see in years and years. Specifically, Gilda patching up things with Rainbow Dash in this case.
By the way, this is a Gilda redemption episode.
More or less. Well, more than a Gilda redemption episode, but there isn't quite so much as a redemption per se, as in they just get back being friends again.
Yes,
and she really missed them.
Yeah, fix the bridge, so to speak.
But it's not really some sort of big redemption arc like Discord had last year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a flawed redemption arc in its own way.
Discord was a bigger bad guy. You get the bigger redemption arc.
So Pinky Dash in Griffonstone, which is the name of the place.
Yes, good old Griffonstone, which has been hyped as the most wonderful, amazing, rich in culture place you can ever find, as Twilight Sparkle would say.
And I think it's supposed to be the equestrian equivalent of Tsarist Russia, because I see Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie climbing the mountain, wearing very much northern Eastern European Russian
I think
style of hats.
More here. What was it? Here,
Are you thinking of Tibet?
That.
You're thinking of Tibet, but I came up with a different, place, and I'll tell you my reasoning why when we actually describe what the place is.
It's a poor village, famine, and pestilence, and desperation, and
no one gives a toss.
And everybody is.
I was kind of sad about that.
Yes, it's.
I always found the idea that Gilda is just a jerk, more endearing. Is that the right word?
Well, here's the thing. Twilight Sparkle herself thought that was the case too, but then
she is just a jerk as a person, and not that their whole race is jerks. That is
no. As it turns out, Gilda is a jerk because of the place she grew up in.
Which is very sad if you think about it that way.
It is very sad, actually. It really it kind of recontextualizes her character as a whole.
And as they're here, they meet up with Gilda, of course, in this rundown village.
Rundown, and I thought about Tsarist Russia because there was also a situation in which the population was suffering from, well, famine and lack of resources and general absolute poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And also they were not really united up until the Bolshevik Revolution, that is. So
yes.
Can we keep politics out of the ponies, please?
Well, yes. Too late, I guess. And besides, we're talking about politics from a century ago, so...
Yes, and I'll be coming up with one even older than that in a moment, so let's continue. So, it's then we come across Gilda, and they're not quite happy to see each other, except for Pinky.
Yeah, but she's happy to see everyone. Well, even Discord nowadays.
Yes. So, it's had this amusing scene where they go like, rainbow, and just like, Gilda, and then Pinky goes, Pinky!
Yes, I've seen that joke played out so many times, I almost didn't even register it, to be honest.
But it still made me not laugh or chuckle, just a little one, like...
Okay, this up.
Like it was like it was slightly amusing. But yeah, as we said,
moving on to the old buzzard.
Yes, the old buzzard who basically overhears because Gilda wonders what they're doing there, and they're all like, we came here, well, because
looking for
reasons.
Okay, yes, we were here because it has to do with a MacGuffin map, and what's the deal with this rundown place? And shouldn't this be a prosperous kingdom of some description?
You would think at this rate that all the ponies got together and said, okay, we're going to actually make a set of sentences that will actually describe our purpose without making us sound dumb.
You know, actually, I got to wonder, if this Griffon kingdom, this Griffonstone, is indeed part of Equestria, why didn't anyone, or I should say, why didn't any pony notice the really sad situation this kingdom was in? And
because they have to climb huge mountains, and I don't think that...
Come on, they have flyers!
Freaking Celestia could just fly over there.
Why would they go there?
We just teleport herself over there. Hey, Griffon King, surprise visit. Oh, what happened here? This requires friendship.
Bad.
So I'm just going to assume that the Griffon Kingdom at this point has adopted some kind of isolationist policy.
I would assume that too, considering that no one seems to mention anything about what the kingdom's going through until now.
Until two random ponies that just so happened to decided to visit it because No, apparently, no one else would think to go there for some other reason. I don't know.
I can only assume that everyone, all the ponies suddenly just didn't think anything would be happening to that kingdom and just thought it was still empowered by the Griffin kingdom. I mean, by the Griffins.
Yes, which of course also they have a MacGuffin idol, because apparently every major empire / kingdom nowadays has to have a MacGuffin idol.
What is Celestias and Lunas? The crystal heart for the Crystal Empire, the mud for Twilight, and that, what was it? Idol, whatever.
The McGriffon idol for the Griffins. The McGriffon idol.
So what would be the one for Celestia and Luna?
Well, I'd like to say
the ponies themselves.
No, actually, I was about to say themselves. Yes, I was about to say themselves. Or maybe it's just maybe it used to be the elements of Harmony themselves before they transplanted the rulership of the kingdom.
That could explain it.
To counter a lot. Okay.
Let's continue. We meet the old buzzard who tells them the story about the old tale of which is considered a myth now, apparently, by many people.
Which would imply this happened eons ago. So in
centuries.
Eons...
Let's go with centuries.
So in centuries, nobody noticed the poor state in which this kingdom was in. We literally had Griffin athletes participating at the pony games last season, and which would have been a chance to reach out to somehow share interests in each other, but nobody noticed, nobody asked, nobody questioned anything about the Griffonstone place.
So, how are you doing back home? Fine.
Yes, more or less.
Maybe
it's just the Griffons are so decisively become antisocial that they don't even bother to share information, which would make my comparison with Russia even more apropos.
Well, I was gonna say maybe it's political commentary on countries. Anyway, as I was about to say, he talks about the old tale of how they used to have all this treasure, and then they had one particular idol that was like the representation of their pride and all that.
The way he puts it is that idol had literally the power to give them an uplifting view on life.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
We have that, especially Germany. The World Cup.
Oh.
Football World Cup.
Oh.
We have it. Now we can have national pride again.
Yeah, the World Cup.
Yeah,
yes.
So
for all that good that will do.
So at the end of all, So basically, the idol, so to speak, gets stolen.
The Japanese super idol.
Yes, gets stolen by
a freaking goat ram thingy monster.
Yeah,
It just so happens to die when he falls down off the bridge when it was randomly hit by thunder.
Yes.
What a story, guys. Totally worth 2 bits.
and Pinky says the most saddest story she ever heard.
Well, too bad, no refunds.
Yes, no refunds for you.
So, by the way, they literally paid 2 bits to this old buzzard to hear the backstory of the country.
Yes. So then Rainbow Dash decides to take it upon herself to be the hero and find this idol and bring it back.
Because she's Rainbow Dash.
And bring it back, thinking
because she's Rainbow Dash.
Yes, because that.
Gilda puts it wisely. Classic pony hero syndrome.
Yes.
You know, which is the same to say classic white man syndrome. The white man, or in this case the pony, which has to
take it upon themselves.
Has to get himself involved in the business of another country, and has to be the hero of everyone, and has to save the day because he is the white man. I mean, the pony. Rainbow Dash is America. Rainbow Dash is the USA in this case.
Yeah, she is. She is like Mighty Mouse who goes, "Here I come to save the day."
Even though nobody asked for it. Rainbow Dash is not the hero we want, but he's the hero we deserve.
Yes. Anyway,
don't let her hear that.
But Pinky's all like, but we have to do things that Twilight said we have to do, like go to the library and such. And Rainbow,
you have fun with that.
Yeah, you have fun with that. Dash is all like,
and then you see the library and it's completely destroyed. And honestly, I'm glad Twilight didn't come because
she would have cried.
Have you already seen the state the books were in? Oh.
Yes. And besides, she already had to overcome the trauma of losing her library/home.
Oh god, that would have opened up whole wounds.
Oh, I'll say. So actually, it was best for her not to come.
Yeah.
I'm still lamenting that there was a really not convincing explanation for her to come, because we didn't have any explanation whatsoever for her not to come, except staying back and doing princessy business. Boring.
Or Heroes of the Stallion.
Yes, sure, whatever.
Anyway,
okay, so at this point, everybody, calm down. No, please don't panic. Remain calm. Pinky Dash separates.
They split up.
The fandom is ruined. Panic, chaos, apocalypse.
Yes, instead of Dash Pie shenanigans, we got Pie Gilda shenanigans.
And fanfictions were written.
I think fanfictions were already written at that point.
Now more than ever.
They have been written back in season 1.
I know, but now they have been further empowered by the show.
Yes.
So there you go.
So yeah, as I was about to say, let me think. So one side you got Dash, who's basically trying to get equipment ready to go to the abyss.
Trying to get the cooperation of the local Griffon lady climb master, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is sucking her dry for all the bits she has.
Yes, and you got Dash on the other hand. I mean, Pinkie Pie on the other hand, who basically is looking for the library, and as well as talking to Gilda, basically trying to figure out things herself without needing the idol.
Yes, which is the right path to do, and you can pretty much guess what said path is going to do. It's going to have to involve, of course, sweets of some description, if not cakes, at least those things that Gilda is baking.
Yes, because
I never made her for the baking kind of gal.
No, I never thought that either, but you're just surprised what people are like. But it's quite funny because of the fact that because Twilight Sparkle recommended them to go eat some of the rock scones, I believe they're called.
And now I have to resist the urge to sing a certain Monty Python song.
And as for me, I have to resist the urge to make an obvious Flintstones joke at this point. Because the fact that when Pinky asks Gilda for a rock scone, she gets one.
And it's as hard as a rock.
Yes, because guess what? The secret ingredients is rocks.
They should have brought mod pie. They should just.
She would have thought they were delicious.
They should have brought mod pie.
Crunchy.
She would have said, "This is the happiest place on earth.
This is the life. The equestrian dream."
Crunchy.
So Pinkie Pie then decides many things which are apparently illegal to do in that country.
Yes, she okay. At this point, the show decides to do a little bit of a fourth wall humor and saying, "Hey, we need to break out in a song and a complicated musical number to convince everyone to be friends with each other because friendship is the solution." And Gilda points out that singing is prohibited in this country.
Mm-hmm.
I could understand why. Just think about it. They are all birds. And if they would sing all day long, that
They
would
become
be
songbirds. They become all the songbird from Zork.
Oh no, Zork again.
Actually, okay, I like the idea. The leitmotif in this episode in which the Griffins, as well as Rainbow Dash, seems to be the most was grounded individuals. As in, they don't digest. They are all practical. They don't digest sappy things like singing and sappy friendship speaks. And she says sarcastically at this point, "Oh yes. Not be able to sing is the biggest problem of this country right now." So a little bit of a
jab
of a social humor.
Yeah, it's like first world
nice
problem.
touch.
It's like first world problems.
Yes, first world problems.
More like first Equestria problems.
Yes, okay, yes, because that's the point. Because Pinkie Pie comes from this cartoon equivalent of the first world, and she brings her own solution to solve third world problems is to sing and everybody to get along, and that doesn't quite work in this kind of rundown society.
No.
So and how Gilda sarcastically points that out, kind of subtly satirizes on that notion, but perhaps I'm looking in too deep to that. It was just a funny job for the sake of a funny job.
Yeah. So let me gather my thoughts again of where I was gonna go with this, because
SE2 opinion
on the not singing part or what?
anything that's
So
been
far.
said so far.
Rainbow Dash dresses up as Daring Do.
Yes,
She kind of does.
which is kind of funny because the fact it's like she's living the dream of Daring Do, but yet it's not pointed. It's not made apparent.
Well, Daring Do is a real life pony, so I guess it wouldn't feel as magic. But anyway, so Rainbow Dash, while Gilda Pie is going on,
And Pinky introduces the joys of baking powder.
yes, baking. Okay. Yes, this reminds me of also a really funny joke in which Gilda says, "Oh, don't tell me the secret ingredient is friendship," and Pinkie Pie just, "No, it's baking powder." With this voice, with this exact voice, it's
It's like Pinky channeled Mod Pie's.
It's like she hands her in the most matter of factly, or at the same time also kind of baffled way, because why would you think that? Why would an abstract concept? Why would an abstract concept be a secret ingredient to a food? That doesn't make any sense. No, we have baking powder. Oh, by the way, baking powder. Solving all friendship problems. That was a little commercial put there in the actual episode. That was pretty cute.
That was pretty cute and funny. Like little old-timey commercial.
Pretty much.
So yeah.
Best product placement ever.
Yes. So after the introduction of baking powder, Dashes ends up finding the gorge, or the abyss as they call it.
Yes. So we have Rainbow Dash and that no-name Griffin that is sucking her dry.
Yes, and she basically climbs down the mountainside.
We should. It's important. There are really strong currents of wind in that gorge. That's why she cannot just fly down.
Yeah, that's
also the reason why she could not just fly up to the place when she was coming to the place, because the winds were too strong. So it forced her to be grounded. Also, she was with Pinkie Pie, couldn't leave her behind, and she was carrying heavy stuff. So these are all more than valid reasons to not have Rainbow Dash just fly around the whole time this time. So don't complain about that, fans. That's not worth complaining about. I'm just being preemptive because you know how needlessly nitpicky certain fans can be.
Yes, we all know those sort of fans. But yeah, strong winds, can't fly, so it has to climb down there. Only she doesn't do a good job of it.
Nope.
She falls and breaks a hoof.
Well, I hope she didn't break her hoof. Maybe it was just some slight distortion. But regardless, she's trapped there on a rock because she cannot quite climb up or down, and she cannot fly. And she also ran out of bits because she had to buy all the sweets from Pinkie Pie.
And of course,
because Pinkie Pie spent all of her money to buy sweets during the train ride, so yes. she had to lend money to Pinkie Pie as well.
Not to mention that as soon as she ran out of bits and the Griffin climber asked for some more to help her back up with more rope, she just abandoned her. Oh my gosh. That's heartless if you ask me. But good lord.
You see why Gilda turned out the way she did in living in this place where nobody cares about.
Looking at it this way, Gilda is actually the nice Griffin.
Yes.
Yes, Gilda is the nicest Griffin you can find around there. When she calls you a dweeb, it's not because she hates you, it's because she loves you.
Well, okay, not really, but she actually did manage to have a friend.
And to
make a friend with Rainbow Dash, because she got out even momentarily from her house, from her home, and she said it herself. She's trying to make enough money to basically go away from this place. So there is a bit, like I said, of a
motivation.
I was going to say of a real-world parallel with Gilda's situation and what it seems to be the situation of certain, let's just say, poor districts in certain big-time American metropolises. If you see it that way, it's as if the Griffonstone is basically Hell's Kitchen. And I'm not saying that just because I finished watching Marvel's Daredevil, the TV series, the Netflix show, I should say. No, totally not because of that.
No, nothing to do with that.
So after the whole situation where Dash is left behind, Pinkie goes to help Dash after remembering, oh my gosh, Rainbow Dash is probably needing my help.
And also, because apparently she has friend senses, or maybe not. At that point, she kind of realized what this place needed to, improve.
Yes. So.
And
she went to tell that Rainbow.
She went to collect the Dash one.
Yeah, she went to collect Dash.
But problem.
One problem. When Pinkie finds her. And says, Dash, I found a way to fix the place without the treasure. Sort of big. That was kind of amusing.
Pinkie, throw me down a rope.
And she literally
I saw that coming.
Yes.
Pretty much.
I saw that coming.
Yes.
So she throws down the rope.
Literally.
The entire rope, as in.
Without tying it to anything.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere, Dash. Yeah, where should you go?
Well, then she hopes she doesn't go anywhere because the rock she was on was starting to crumble.
Yes.
So, in this desperate situation, Pinkie goes to see Gilda And
at this point, I'd say it's a good point to actually talk what is the biggest problem with this episode, because this is a pretty nice episode, all things considered, but it has one glaring flaw, and that is this is the kind of story that could not be told in just 20 minutes.
They would have at least needed 10 minutes more.
Yes, at least 10 minutes more. And here's why. There is a lot happening. There is a lot going on here. Not only there is this adventure outside of the classic comfort zone of the show to try and resolve the problems of an entire city, there is also a somewhat redemption arc for Gilda, or at least a portion of the episode that has to be devolved into developing and exploring the character of Gilda and her background, and to give context to what is essentially going to be her own moment to shine later on in the episode. But unfortunately, this is where the length of the episode actually isn't quite able to give enough space for the character to properly flourish, so to speak. We are shown her backstory when she met
Baby Gilda.
Yes, when she met Rainbow Dash, and that backstory was incredibly rushed, and it felt more like a summarization of what actually went down, because it was really rushed.
But we got to see little Gilda.
And so
she was so cute.
And then Gilda changes her mind completely and goes back to help Rainbow Dash. Now, if we had a little bit more time for this episode, we would have had a fully fleshed out backstory that would feel like a complete, legitimate backstory rather than the rushed, summarized version.
Not like, hi, want to be friends? Yes.
Yeah, the cliff notes.
Which is pretty much how it went down, if you count that backstory as a legitimate information. That was a bit unsatisfactory, especially since her friendship with Rainbow Dash was pivotal in what is essentially her growth as an individual.
And her only friend, from
because
all
of
things considered.
Yes, because of that. So that's kind of a problem, because that important backstory moment feels rushed because the episode didn't quite have the time to flesh it out. And the same could be said for the climax of the episode. Because, Gilda goes back to help Rainbow Dash. Due to a series of contrivances, which is mostly Pinkie Pie's fault, both three of them end up falling inside the gorge and with the winds, and they land somewhere, and they immediately find the missing idol and the bones of the goat ram monster that took the idol. Immediately, it was just there.
Griffin claws are obviously strong enough to scratch stone.
Yes.
Yeah. And Gilda was strong enough to hold up herself, Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie Pie with just one claw.
Yes.
That was kind of amazing.
Yes, it actually was.
At any point in time, a reasonably strong Griffin could have just climbed down the cliff using her or his claws to retrieve the idol and prevent all of this from happening. But no,
it's lost.
But no, it's lost. Except it's not, because they fall for a couple of meters, or
it's right there.
Seemed like a couple of meters. They immediately fumble upon the idol and the bony remains of the creature who stole it, into two separate cliffhangers.
Cliffhangers.
And they were just there. They were just there the whole time. And like I said, if this episode had more minutes to flesh out, then maybe
they would have fallen more.
They would have had a bit more time spent searching that idol, or at least make it look so as if that idol wasn't just at the reach of any single Griffin who could have actually got there, because it wasn't there that far in the canyon, or so the episode makes it look like. And that notion trivializes the entire idea of this kingdom falling apart because apparently this idol was quote-unquote unreachable and lost forever, which wasn't.
Which it's also
if no one wants to go to find it, why bother?
It's just
it's also
let's just go. Let's just our whole kingdom collapse and go to waste and
No.
it makes the
Why would
Griffins
we?
look like terrible, people. Well, they make it look like people who just give up easily because apparently, it's fallen down the abyss. We give up immediately.
Okay,
It's
actually, you could technically justify this if you wanted to. That is,
you could easily psychologically, cover it up by saying that they lost their pride so much after losing it.
Not even using psychology. The episode itself tells you right out that the Griffin were convinced that this idol was what gave them strength and pride to begin with. It was like a nationwide placebo effect. When they lost it, they lost automatically the will to go on, because they thought that it was the idol who gave them that strength. They had the strength all along, they just didn't know better. Which is actually kind of raises other problems, because it still gives you a really unflattering vision of the Griffins, because if they're not just brutes and jerks, then they are not particularly intelligent.
Yeah.
So this also raises other problems, but...
By the way, thanks for taking my explanation of what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's alright, as long as...
Okay. It's only fair if you get to talk about Gilda's moment and what it is a direct reference to.
Yeah, Gilda's moment where she sees the bones, and then she sees the idol, and she prepares to reach for it. And it's very obvious what happens at this point, because it's like the choice between friends or the treasure.
The treasure, on one hand, the treasure that supposedly could restore the pride of her country, or the only friends she's ever made in her life.
Spock would have made this another choice. Spock, Star Trek.
What? Yeah, the needs of the many outweigh the few. We get over.
So he would have chosen the idol.
I don't think so.
Yes.
No.
I don't think that either.
I don't think so.
It would have been the logical choice.
Yes, but Spock has always as a character has always been struggling with his human side. With his emotional side, he's trying to control through the facade of logic, and he's willing to sacrifice himself for the benefit of others. But I don't think he will be willing to sacrifice his friends to do so.
Exactly, I was going to say that. I'm pretty sure he did save his friends a couple of times over other things.
But anyway,
we're not talking about Star Trek ponies. We're talking about We're talking about ponies.
Star Trek. Now we're talking about the Last Crusade. Talking about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, because this moment of Gilda trying to reach for the idol and her friends trying on the abyss of her death is very reminiscent of that last scene, that last climax from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, when Indy wants to reach for the idol, but he's almost about to fall, and his father, who is grabbing on him, tells him, no, don't do that. Leave. Your life is more important. It's similar to that. It's a direct reference to that, except the one who's trying to reach for the idol is also the one who has the life of her close ones hanging on her claws.
Literally hanging for dear life, like a thread.
So yes. And she makes the right choice and saves her friends, and sacrificing the idol forever. And
of course,
it's probably down another 20 meters. They should just climb down there.
Yes, it's lost forever. The idol is gone. Oh, wait, it's just over there in the ledge. It's lost forever. Lost forever. Idol is lost forever. Hashtag idol lost forever.
Yes, hashtag lost forever. So they go. So they leave the abyss. After climbing back up and back to town, where Gilda, has her moment where she says she realizes that she cannot let her friends, die down there.
So Gilda turns out to be much more of a soft, bleeding heart than she let out to be. Much like Rainbow Dash herself. Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought? But again, this is a girl who bakes rock scones, so...
Yes. But now they are good, because they have baking powder.
Yes. where upon the closing of this episode, everyone realizes that what this place needs is people to actually...
baking powder.
No, not baking powder. It's for the Griffins to actually mingle and socialize with each other.
Through cake, or in this case, rock scones.
Yes, which were...
But anyway, okay. Here's what I really like this episode, and I think the episode really comes off strong because of that. They realize what the solution is, but they also are aware that the solution is not instant. It requires a lot of work and patience. We will get there, but it will be a slow process. But the point is that this process has been started by someone, by Gilda specifically, in this town. And the fact that someone actually had, finally, the will to try to improve things is what ultimately matters in the long run. Because in the long run, things will get better, just not immediately. You require patience, and I like that. It's a far more realistic outcome that we are used to for this show. Usually in the show, you see a problem, you solve it immediately, and now everything is better.
Yes, everything's fixed.
Everything's fixed. No, this episode is telling you things can and might as well get better, but you need time. It requires time and patience. You need to...
And
effort. You need to put effort in what you do if you really want a change. So that was a great lesson, I'd say.
One more thing. Was it just me, or did Gilda's voice change after the flashback?
I think she had... I'm not sure, but her voice seemed a little bit different this episode altogether. I know the voice actress she had in season 1 was the same that did the English dub of Black Lagoon for the character of Reika.
Oof.
But Gilda here sounded a little bit more like Rainbow Dash, like the voice actress for Rainbow Dash.
Well, it has been a fair few seasons since they saw Gilda.
Sounded a little like Ashley Ball. But I could be wrong. We should actually check out the voice casting for this episode.
Yeah, probably should. Anyway, so the episode ends on a good note, but it's like telling you this will take time and effort, and Dash and Pie go off home.
So Pinky Dash helped Gilda learning a lesson about friendship, and now with the lesson that she learned, she's going to try and spread the friendship like a disease to her people.
Yes, and with rock scones apparently, infected with friendship and love,
and baking powder.
Actually, there was one little detail I forgot. There's actually two details. The first one I'll talk about is a more silly one. There was when Pinkie Pie went to the library earlier. She was pretending she was talking with a statue of the. That
was amusing and somewhat unsettling.
Especially at the ending of this episode, what it leaves off on, because she looks back to the statue she was talking with.
You know, I shouldn't even be saying this, but people will write fan fictions that will ship Pinkie Pie with the Griffin statue.
Sure, why not?
Well, we already had. Well, let's see. Okay, we had Rarity with Tom the Boulder. We had the Fluttershy with Brunswick the tree, and now Pinkie.
She has sex with the tree.
No. Ponies don't have sex. No, they don't.
No, they do. Well, of course they do. Otherwise, how do?
No.
Our
Magic.
Our children born.
Magic, Madhog. Magic.
No.
Magic.
They get pregnant.
Magic.
No, they get pregnant and give birth like everyone else.
Magic
Jeez.
pregnancies.
Grow up, you guys.
Anyway, so they leave off of the episode where Pinkie looks back to the village, and the shot lingers on the statue, which shines at her, and she replies with,
like, I'll be back for you later. Says the statue.
Yeah, and Pinkie's all like, I'll be back to see you, you charmer.
That was okay, honestly, that was a bit weird.
Another funny thing I would like to mention on the train ride to the Griffin Kingdom.
Yeah.
Rainbow Dash's Twilight impression.
Yes, that was great.
Oh yes, that point.
That's great.
It seems like the animators are having a lot of fun with changing the characters' hairstyles this season.
Yes, they do.
We had Twilight with anime Phoenix Wright hairstyle, and
actually, that hairstyle reminded me of Spitfire more specifically, but
yeah. And then we had all the ponies in the last episode, in the Discord episode, where they all had different hairstyles for the gala compared to
that was great.
To the first season where they didn't change it.
I kind of want to see Rainbow Dash with Super Saiyan haircut. And I also would like to see Pinkie Pie reprising your Pink Kamina hairstyle.
Yeah.
With the long flat hair.
So yeah, and the second thing I want
to like to see her break again.
You don't want to see what again, SC2 Nightmare?
I want to see her break again.
Honestly, well, I would be tempted to say yes to that because Part 1 was one of my favorite episodes of all time.
Oh yes,
but it wouldn't really make much sense.
Probably not.
With how the character has grown.
That was so much fun.
Yes, but it wouldn't make sense, and plus, things are best left as a single thing.
Okay, maybe you can have an evil twin of some description. I don't know. Evil magical twin.
We got board magically inserted, so why not?
Anyway, a second detail I like to mention now that
maybe this show is going to have its own version of the Black Moon arc from Sailor Moon.
Yes, let's go with that. But anyway, I was about to say, the second detail I'd like to mention, now that we've actually finished talking about all the things that I was hoping we would all bring up in this episode, there was actually one place in particular I think this episode is kind of matches to a T, very eerily speaking. And
yes,
I think it references ancient Egypt.
You think Griffonstone references ancient Egypt?
Yes, but now hear me out on this one.
Okay.
The first thing, the monster who steals the idol,
yes,
looks like his design is based on old ancient Egyptian Tutankhamun style tombs and headdresses of the like.
Mm-hmm.
The style that matches that. That's the first clue. The second is ancient Egypt and Egypt in general is very similar in history. Namely, they had ancient treasures and were quite a prosperous country for royalty there. But you know, with lots of treasures and some idols here and there. But once they lost the treasures, they were not as wealthy anymore, let's put it that way. And it kind of matches modern Egypt now, because everyone in Egypt these days is asking for money for the most ridiculous things. Like, I'm only saying this because my parents went to Egypt on holiday one point a couple of years back, before all the troubles, of course, and they had military men there who tried to sell them random rocks just to get money.
That's an interesting perspective, but quite frankly, I don't really see it. There is really nothing that reminds me of Egypt, modern or ancient, that is, from an architectural standpoint.
Not architectural, but it's
In
there.
fact, I mean, this show is very particular when it comes to give identities to its fictional nations. With Ponyville is some sort of rural British style village, and there is Manhattan, which is basically early 20th century New York. There is the Cloudsdale, which is based off ancient Greek, and so on and so forth. So if they wanted to make a connection with ancient Egypt, it would stand to reason they would put an extra effort to put in some more obvious architectural statement that would link this now fallen civilization to Egypt.
I agree with you on that point, but the only reason I think of it is because the design of the demon, that stole the idol, and that and not to mention the treasures kind of look similar to what you expect.
Honestly, I thought that Goat Demon was a rendition of a G1 villain that was also a ram monster, except with one eye.
I just saw the Cyclops, and Cyclops are Greek mythology, and everything else in the show is Greek mythology. So
everything else in most fantasies are a mix of Greek mythology and Norse mythology, if you think about it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my kind of 2 cents on the matter, really. I think it's Egypt in how it looks and acts, which
how it feels.
Honestly, it feels to me like a third world country. Very much generic.
But then again, maybe they could have just merged a fair few third world countries.
It could be Persia. It could be Babylonia.
Possibly.
But anyway, it's not. I don't think it's really all that important.
No, it's not important.
It didn't look. It wasn't really a particularly impressive place.
No,
but that's because it was meant not to be impressive. They decided, instead of giving some sort of identity with some sort of immediately recognizable ancient civilization or some description, they decided to go with the more appropriate idea of making you see how much far this civilization has fallen, to the point that you can not even recognize it as a civilization in its own right.
And you're not allowed to sing in public.
Also, that's just sad.
That's the awful part.
I would never.
So, by the way, okay, so where are we going to have the Griffonstone expansion to the game Civilization 5? That's the important question that everyone is asking at this point.
Yeah. Or what if they decide to hold the Equestria games in Griffonstone?
Well, that's going to be embarrassing.
Yes.
Okay, but on the other hand, I have my doubts that Miss Harshwini would ever come to visit that place.
Yeah, especially considering how far it is.
Apparently, it is pretty far, and yet the train can reach it. At least it can reach the base of the mountain.
The train drives past it. In the opening.
Oh my
they
gosh!
Reach the
what
end
is this?
Of a track.
Honestly, forget everything else. The railway system in Equestria is the biggest mystery here. The train, it's like a magic train, a mystery train. That's what it is.
Choo choo! All aboard the magic train.
My gosh! Oh, the magic multicolored train from from a toddler's TV show that can go anywhere as long as your imagination can bring it there. It's like something out of Sesame Street.
Yes, pretty much.
No, actually, even younger demographic related shows than Sesame Street. Something out of
Teletubbies?
Teletubbies.
No, it's still too clever for Teletubbies. Something.
God.
It's like the imagination train from a Barney the Dinosaur episode.
Oh gosh.
Something like that.
But I think now we've been talking about this episode for 1 hour and 15 minutes, so I think
That's longer than the last time.
I think we've covered everything.
Yes, pretty much. Buy baking powder. It for all your friendship-related issues and problems.
Baking powder. It's amazing.
But okay, but I think that one question. What about Gummy?
Well, he's still holding that not spatula, that kitchen utensil in his mouth. So I guess he must have the most exciting day in his life.
Yes, it's obvious he did the most of the work ever, more than Dash Pie did.
Okay, next one is going to be an episode completely focused on Gami. We're going to see his side of the story, his great adventure. It's going to be a really a artsy fartsy arthousey film in which the Gami alligator just stares at the camera for 20 minutes.
No, we will see how he bakes the whole cake, eats it, and then goes back into the position.
It's slightly less exciting than my idea.
And we can stare at the camera for 20 minutes.
Oh man.
Okay. Oh boy. And by the way, it's a whisk, Mad Hog. Get a kitchen.
I have a kitchen, I just don't cook.
Then cook more.
I cook pasta just fine.
Oh,
So
gosh.
anyway, okay, so this episode. So to summarize our opinion of this episode, and then to finally conclude this really thrilling and exciting podcast, which is getting longer and longer every time. Okay, this was a good episode, solid, relatively solid episode with a few problems of pacing and some rushed parts in the story, and that's because the total 20 minutes long running time isn't quite enough to cover some of the major, most critical and dramatic aspects of this story. But other than that, it's quite enjoyable, because how else would you describe an episode starring Pinky Dash going up, adventuring in the world and meeting up an old frenemy and patching things up? It's an episode that was a kind of a long time coming for the fans. So I think most people are going to like it.
Yes,
regardless of its problems.
Yeah, it was a good episode overall. Not great, but it was alright.
Well, it comes right after the Discord crashes the gala party episode, so
Yes.
and it couldn't possibly match up to that level of grandiosity.
No, it definitely couldn't match up to the absurdity of that. Oh gosh. I mean,
So what about guys? Your opinion?
well, I've already
Your final thoughts, I should say.
Final thoughts. Go ahead.
Like I said before, it's a good and alright episode, despite its flaws. It wasn't noticeable unless you actually really think about it. So, it could do worse.
Yes, you could do Appaloosa's Most Wanted.
That's forgettable.
Yes, there's nothing.
Which episode was that?
There is nothing worse than forgettable.
Yes, and ST2 Nightmare just asked which one was that again.
Yes, it was the one before the good one.
Yeah, before the funny one. Anyway, what was your thoughts, Nightmare?
Well, it was quite ambitious. A bit too ambitious for its own good.
Yes, it should have been 2 episodes, if you ask me. 2 fully fleshed out episodes.
Sure, why not? Taking time with something you want to really tell, and if you want to tell that much, then cramming it together doesn't do it justice.
There's a reason if the premiere episode works as well as it did, because it was 2 episodes, which was all the time it needed to be fully fleshed out as a story.
No, now that I think about it, I was waiting for this moment where the map introduced the concept of separate ponies going to different places, and it was kind of underwhelming, sadly, in that regard.
But hey, Pinky Dash is still enjoyable.
Yeah, Pinky Dash still enjoyable.
Pinky Dash is best pony pairing.
Anything else, or are we done here?
I'm good.
How about you, Nightmare?
I don't think I have anything more.
Yeah, I think I mean, 1 hour and 20 minutes. I'm sure we have like tons of things to add to this.
Yes.
We can go for hours.
Yes, pretty much. We can recount the tales of the Pinky Dash adventure in the land of Griffonstone. So Pinky Dash get together again by the end of it. So don't worry, fans.
Pinky will not.
No need to kill the fandom. No need to panic. Everything is fine. Everything is okay.
There is no way Pinky's gonna cheat on Dash with that statue.
Oh snap. Okay. Hashtag stoned love.
Stone pie.
Wait, Stoned Love was last episode.
Oh dear.
Oh yes, you're right. Okay, it took me a while, but eventually I get there. So, okay, and on that, well, peace and love, you guys. See you next time for the next exciting and righteous episode of this podcast, man. Good night, everybody. Hashtag legalize pot.
Sure, why not?
Yes, we'll go with that. Now, excuse me, I have to fly off in the distance for no reason.
And I have to hide a hideout from some griffins, and this. And I will put them in some guy's closet, and it will be lost forever. Nobody will ever find it. It is unfindable. This is lost forever. Well, it's the end of the kingdom, I guess. Goodbye. Crashes overnight. Seriously, that is so unflattering for the poor griffins.
Oh, I dropped my whatever. Let it be. Just pick it back up. No, it's gone.
So nihilism is the answer to all your life's problems, apparently.
Okay, we have made enough jokes about griffins not being able to find their stuff.
Yes. So good night, everybody, and take care.
And now we'll spend the next hour making fun of Gryffindor. Well, off the air, that is.
Nope.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Farewell.
Buy baking powder.
And don't lose the baking powder, or it's lost forever.
Oh, God.